2025小鹏科技日发布会即将开始。Ladies and gentlemen, 2025 XPENG AI Day is about to start.有请小鹏汽车董事长 CEO 何小鹏先生。Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Mr. 何小鹏, Chairman and CEO of XPENG.
Hello everyone, I'm He Xiaopeng. Welcome so many media friends and also our customers, our colleagues, and also audience from online, both domestically and overseas. Thank you all for attending our 2025 XPENG AI Day. Today marks actually the first time for us to attend the event in our new headquarters in Guangzhou. Now already more than 10,000 colleagues skilled in AI, cars, robots, and other fields work together to explore new technology innovations. We actually create together across different disciplines. Today I'm very proud and also very excited to share with you the latest technologies of our company. Today is also our 7th AI Day. In my memory, this is the most important AI Day. We are going to launch 4 major AI-defined applications. This time, for XPENG, will be a giant leap because this time we are going to elevate XPENG to the new heights. Over the past 11 years, XPENG has gone through a lot of things. In China and also in the whole world, we can see the hardware is driving software. Also in the past 10 years, from customer point of view, software only accounts for 10% of the total values of the car. For me, actually, I started my career as a software engineer. That's why I always believe software should play an ever more important role in the automotive industry. And I also believe this can bring disruptive innovations. But what are the specific applications? Today, let's unveil this. First of all, let's actually recall the past 6 AI days. Since 2019, when we actually have the highway XNGP, and also in 2020, we actually make the XNGP available nationwide. In 2021, we brought the concept of the flying cars to the society. At that time, people thought it was only a dream. In 2022, we said we are going to launch the intelligent robots because at that time, we believe this can be executed. In 2023, at that time, we said we are going to give the AI-assisted driving to the cars priced under $20,000. Last year, we mentioned to launch the next generation Super Range Extender. As we can see, we need to have dreams, we need to have expectations, because a lot of tech imaginations and also expectations are turning into reality. Today is our 2025 XPENG AI Day. This event will be very hardcore. Let me give you guys a teaser, because for our company, we are thinking that how can we transform the hardcore technologies into the things that can be easily understood by everyone. Today, I will try my best to explain this very briefly and also very clearly. The theme of our 2025 AI Day is Emergence. A lot of friends will ask, what's emergence? Because emergence, this word, is more and more frequently mentioned. At the beginning, I remember emergence comes from the large model in AI field. When we have massive data, especially the long tail data, when we compress this kind of data and have another kind of sequencing, then we will find out that a lot of unexpected things happen. This is also similar to what we have experienced in autonomous driving. I believe this is not only all the things that we can achieve with emergence. We still have more to explore. During the past 11 years of our company's history, we did a lot of self-developed innovations. Some of them actually have already transformed from full-stack in-house development to cross-domain innovations. A lot of technologies that you are going to see today will be in new scenarios with new capabilities. I also think this can be called as emergence. At the beginning of the event, please allow me to use a few slides to introduce about the current trend. So in China, we have seen that for males, it's very actually dangerous to get into the wrong industry. And for ladies, it's very dangerous to actually marry a wrong guy. So to use this example, I want to say that we cannot beat the trend, and we need to follow the trend. And for our company, we need to have the correct and very logical observations of the latest trends. On this slide, you can see over the past 25 years, the evolution in the digital world. A lot of Chinese companies, they are on the platform ecosystem or in smart hardware, but we still have two more important layers. It's about the operating system. For example, Windows, they have already achieved a very good results back in 2000s, because operating system is very crucial. After 2010, we can see that the mobile internet, no matter in China or in overseas markets, have witnessed a dramatic change from Windows to Android and then to later iOS from Apple and so on. A lot of new hardware and also a new generation of technologies have emerged over the past 10 years. In 2020s, we can see another evolution, especially NVIDIA. In 2017, when I met Jensen, they are at the market value of 20 billion, now already over $5 trillion. I don't know who have already bought the stock from NVIDIA, but if you keep until now, then you will make a fortune. We also see the operating system has also evolved over the past 25 years. Before, we are more rule-based and hardware-defined. Today, now we are data and model-defined. This drives the evolution of smart hardware and also drives the evolution of the platform ecosystem. We believe in the next 10 years or in the future, AI will be the defining trend. Now let's see what happened in the physical world. It's totally different because the transformation evolution is very slow. From 1890 to 1920, steam cars and also petrol cars, diesel cars are starting to develop. And then the steam engine cars, they stopped. And then the petrol and diesel, they further developed. But until now, already 100 years, we are still actually mainly about the ICE or petrol cars. Hundreds of companies are working in this industry, producing different types of cars for our customers. However, around 2020s, we can see a very big change. At that time, Tesla already surpassed the sum of the market value of a lot of car makers. And also around 2020, BYD starts to grow very fast. At that time, the monthly sales similar to XPENG, but today you can see every month they can sell more than 400,000 units, already 10 times compared with 2020. So physical world is changing not that fast, but also it's also changing the speed with the speed out of expectation. We also observed a very interesting trend. That is, in physical world, we have engine, we have energy, but in digital world, we don't have any physical fuel. We can see that in 2025, we are going to usher in the new era. Operating system can also burn the fuel. The fuel here is data. And here, the operating system is like our engine. We found there are two types of engines, two types of fuels, which will actually contribute to the formation of the digital world. Here, AI and the software will actually transform different products like AI cars and also robots. Now, the machine is gradually able to understand, interact with, and change the world. This is physical AI, which will actually bring transformation to our next 2 decades. This is the key word we want to bring to you guys, physical AI. We believe AI is deeply integrated with physical world from this era, and also machine will gradually capable of truly interacting with physical world and even changing the world and generating the new world. Now let's check out the video to think about the future of physical AI.
So we just quickly walk you through some of the differences between the physical and digital world, which gave rise to a complete change in the physical AI world. Therefore, we would like to introduce one of these changes, which is the operating system, great changes in operating system. And one of the operating systems is just like the cerebellum of the brain, which is in charge of the actions. It's also changed rapidly. We call it VLA. It has 3 major cores: the model, computing power, and data. We would like to introduce our progress in the VLA using its first chapter, which would be great changes in the physical AI world. As I mentioned, that the operating systems is just like the engine in the physical world. And from this slide, you can see that in the past decade, our autonomous driving has already undergone 3 eras. In era 1, it's basically followed the rule, the algorithm. And second, we launched our HNGP, the Highway Navigation Guided Pilot, which is in March 2022. And in last year's 2024, we launched our end-to-end model on our vehicle. Well, actually, the end-to-end model deployed in the current industry is actually small modeled if we put it in the rigid terms because of some limitations. So VLA is also one of the end-to-end models. And now the end-to-end small models are gradually evolving into more powerful models, from visual to language and to action. And this model is driving our change. You can see that the standard VLA would usually translate the vision into language and then into action by learning all those traffic rules and driving habits. It would generate the trajectory, the speed, so you can see there are actually 2 translations. While following the first principle is actually not the optimal solution. Can we actually translate what we see into what we would perform and act? And that we will see something totally different. For example, when we learn how to drive ourselves, we often say that seeing once is more intuitive than reading thousands of words. This video is very short, just dozens of seconds. However, if you try to use the text to describe the scheme, it's about 1,200 words. And even 1,200 words find it difficult to describe everything in this video. You will ignore lots of the details. To put that to perspective, how can we actually give such a large data amount to a model to train on it? And what kind of form should we adopt? Therefore, we opt for video than the text. When we developed the ALA, last year we actually struggled thinking whether we should follow our first principle to take out the language or to drastically reduce the representation of language to directly translate vision to action. This will become a vision-centric model in the physical world. You can see that no one in the industry has managed to actually mass-produce this model. In 2024, we had heated internal discussions. We decided to go for both 2 solutions. One is the standard VLA, visual language action, and the second solution is to remove the language, directly translate vision to action. From a technology perspective, it's more like a VL model. So what we want to do is a VA model. It's like the very initial stage in the physical world. When we started this project last year, we had no confidence at all that we would achieve. So since last year until the first half of this year, the VLA that we promoted are all standard because it's clear in logic and is actually accurate. That's why we had 2 teams. Dr. Liu Xianming led the second team to pioneer the second solution. And in our XPENG history, innovation is to push for the limit. You can see that we've actually invested a lot. From 2024, we've invested 30,000 card computing power, about 2 billion RMB into the R&D expense, without seeing any hope. Until the second half of this year, at that time, we had an internal executive meeting. We have some executives from the Autonomous Driving Center, the ADC, denied to join the meeting, saying that the model failed to work. However, just one day ahead of that meeting, they found that the model had a great improvement. All of a sudden, in a scenario, it worked. And that quickly led us to the next gen VLA. I think it's easy to guess what happened. So someday in the second half of 2025, we decided to develop into the second solution and stopped the development of standard VLA. Of course, it would definitely have some impact on the max variant users, because we actually find a brand new door waiting for us that will give us the potential to find a different, much safer, smoother, and more powerful smart driving system. We decided to go for it and stop everything we do right now, to devote everything on our second VLA. So, after so many hardships, the VLA capability we're going to see is what we like to introduce to you, which is our VLA 2.0. We believe that we just pioneered a new paradigm of physical world models on mass-produced cars. It actually will iterate our autonomous driving system by 2 years in advance. And this paradigm, I believe, that will be a more universal solution in the industry. When I personally use it, unlike some ADC colleagues who have already tested for so many times, I have to be honest, I was amazed by it. Because so many long-tail scenarios that can hardly be solved can be easily tackled with this model. And the driving experience is so smooth. Even just have, during the driving, there will be no jerk, sudden braking, and during interaction with other vehicles. It's just like a seasoned driver. Therefore, we find that when you have the model, computing power, and data all set in place, you actually see the moment of emergence. After you solve one problem, you will find that so many legacy issues that cannot be solved cannot easily be tackled with the new methodologies. It's very sudden for us because we have months of failures, multiple times of discussions talking whether we should remove this VL18 because it actually costs a lot. I believe that Brian knew it pretty well because he often told me that we have spent another 100 million into the R&D without seeing anything. So at that time, we had no confidence telling and persuading other people that we will succeed. Therefore, at that time, this VLA 2.0, its emergence really impressed us. So we would like to use a short video for you to know its whole new change. The VLA 2.0. City, campus, night road, narrow road. The meeting vehicles in complex intersection. Complex intersections in the night rush hour. The narrow road construction site, finding the right timing to make the detour. The very extreme passage through a narrow way that seemed to be a dead end. Very cut in from the path, a comfortable deceleration without any water being spilled. very comfortable longitudinal acceleration and deceleration, no jerk, no accidental braking, very efficient lane changes in the city. A passage through the bollard at night. Intruding the vehicle at night. Very smooth passage in multiple vehicles. The navigation-freed LCC in the campus. The LCC find the open road. Whole weather full scenario change.
Cool 不 cool？
Is it cool?
我跟大家说一下，这个里面的所有的小录视频都没
I
有
want
加
to
速。
explain. Actually, all the videos you have
也就是
seen,
说，它
we
是完
didn't
全1比1的速度。
speed up, so it's
比如
1 to
说，
1
里
speed.
面有2个安全水利
For
桩。
instance,
我不知道你们其他城市有没有，反正就是广州的
I don't
城
know
中
if
村
you
特
can
色。
also encounter some kind
我说
of
实话，
road
我开过
bumps
去，
in the middle.
我经常开到那个前面，我要下车看看。
Sometimes I need to
过
get
3
off the
公分
car.
然
I
后
need
再
to
匀速开
calculate
过
by
去。
myself, like
人
3
都开不过
millimeters.
去。
For
但
people,
是
difficult
就
to
非常的
pass
惊讶，
through,
他竟然
but
直接就
for
开过
our
去。
VLA model, it can
所以
empower the
这
car
种
to
体感
drive
就是
through
说，
it.
你一下子
This
就是像
kind of
发现一种
feeling
全新的大陆。
will give you
以前
actually
我
the
们都觉得
feeling
有
of
很
finding
多
a
很
new
多场景，
continent.
你可能用规则或
In
者
the
算法写
past,
好多
we
年。
need to write a lot of rules
现在
and also
丝
a
滑、
lot of
稳
algorithms.
健、
Now it's
安
smooth,
心、极高的上
joyful,
限，
effortless,
非常
with
好
very
的
high
活
upper
力能力，
limit and also
一下子就变成了
very
一个
strong
基础的事。
capability.
所以，
And this
小
is
鹏
only the
第2
foundation.
代的 VLA 以
For
视
XPENG
觉
VLA
为核心，
2.0, we
像
take
人
vision
一样
as the
认
center.
知、
It
学
will
习
learn
和观
like
察世界，
human for
不
minimal
用中
information
间的
loss
语言翻译，
without
直接转
any
为运动的
translation in the
逻辑。
middle.
那么这样的大
Just
模型，
transform
我们
from
从看
vision
到
to
可以
action.
大幅度降低信息的损
We
耗，
can
因
see
为你
that
看到的世界
during
是
the
完整的
process, the
第
information
二，
loss
推
will
理效率
be
更高，因为你不
reduced
需要
because
中
you
间
see the
转
whole
译了。
world very
整个
complete,
反应
and
更
also
快。
the
你们
inference
不知道，
efficiency
我们
will
用
be
这么大
very
的模
high,
型，
and
帧
also the
率
response
反
will
而
be
提
quicker.
高了，也就是说
As you
更
can
安
see
全、
now,
更顺滑了。
the driving
那
experience
么
will be
在
more
这个领域
smooth
里面，
and
我们可以
also
看到
safer.
我们怎么做出来的，跟大家
So
分
how
享一下。第
did
一
we
个，
achieve this?
我们使用了接近1
We
亿个
use
视
nearly
频的
100
clips。
million
那么
clips.
很多朋友都说，实际上这个数据在车厂里面有很多，但
This
是最
data
重要的
very
是不是
common
标
in
准，
OEMs, but
是多种
the most
corner case，
important
多种
thing
长
is
位的
about
数
the corner cases
小
and
鹏
also
这
some
接近
long
1亿
tail
的视频
issues.
数据，相
For
当
this
于
100
驾驶
million
一个
clips,
普通人驾驶
according to our
65000
calculation, they
年
are equal
遇到
to the
在
sum
全球
of
开车遇到
extreme
的
driving
极限场景
scenarios
的
that one can
和你
encounter
会认为，
over
我相信将来当我
65,000
们走
years
向全球，
across the whole
会
world.
从6万
When
5
we
千
go
年到
global,
10万年到数十万年，
this
所以没
massive
有人能够
data
有
and
这么
also
多的
training
开
will
发意识。
empower our
所以
vehicles to be
一
more
个非常
intelligent.
重要的事情是，当你看到的世界越多越广，你可
When
以
you
提
see
前
the
预测
wider
跟
world,
预
you
防
can actually
更好。
predict
这个
and
时候就会
prevent
更
some
安全，
situations.
更有效率。
And at that
那么
time, you
其
can be
次，
safer
小鹏
and
第二代
also more
VLA
comfortable.
的本质
What's
是
more,
世界模型是将
VLA
推
2.0 is still a VLA large model and also a world model.
世界模型里面
We can achieve the optimal decisions through understanding, prediction, and generation. For instance, you can see on the slide,
对于物理世界的理解和推演。
this is the inference
那么这个
in the cerebellum and also cerebrum
在我们的
based on the world model.
有大
Looks very boring, but during our daily simulation work, we have a lot of inference and decision making.
里面我们使用了一个非常
Also, on this slide,
未来的一
you
个
can see
场景的一个推演，大家可以看到。
another case for the upcoming scenario inference. This is also a long tail scenario that we have generated. The left is original
在物理世
video.
界的模型里面，
The right one is the generated video.
整个的这个
We can see that
生成了一些新的环境。
we generate some new environments during the simulation stage which can help the training further. If we want to achieve this, then we have already used
高大算力技术，
more than 30,000 cards to support our compute cluster and also 72 billion parameters foundation model. Every 5 days, we will have one full cycle iteration. I believe next year, in 2026, we are going to achieve 50,000 cards or even 100,000 cards. In the future AI world, we believe the ultra-large AI computing power will be the cornerstone for physical AI. But only relying on clouding power, is it enough? No, because we also have the physical level, which is our chip, operator, and model cycle. We use 3 Turing AI chips to achieve actually 3 times to 22 times more computing power. We already reached 2,250 TOPS, the highest effective computing power in the industry. According to our study, we also found that the inference efficiency also improved by 12 times. At first, we thought only 1 time or 2 times better, but it's already now 12 times. I hope this can be further improved to 20 to 30 times. We also hope that VLA 2.0 we have already achieved 10 times more the parameters. Because this kind of parameters will reflect stronger and more unexpected features. And for this slide, I want to introduce you the narrow road NGP to be launched. In the past, we have highway, we have city XNGP, but we also forgot a lot of narrow roads and some campuses. Only in China and in the US, we encountered this kind of situations. The road very wide, easy for autonomous driving. But in a lot of cities and countries across the whole world, we can see in the suburban areas a lot of narrow roads. And a lot of narrow roads also exist in overseas countries. If we didn't do this very well, then it will be a disaster. For example, the alleys in Beijing. Sometimes my friends brought me to the restaurant in the alley. My driver actually was very painful because the road is too narrow. It's very difficult to navigate through the narrow road. We believe narrow road NGP actually will be the new beginning and 10 times more difficult. But if we can conquer this, what does this mean? It means that our city NGP, the capability will improve 10 times, and also the highway NGP safety level will be increased by even 100 times. For our VLA 2.0, we will have 13 times better average miles per intervention on complicated narrow roads. Now, for every 260 kilometers, we need to take over once. This hugely improves the experience from door to door. A lot of competitors and also our company, we have this kind of door-to-door driving experience, but it's not that so smooth in the past. This feature, we are going to make it available from narrow roads to campuses and to other kind of road conditions. This kind of capability can also go to the whole world, not only in China. A lot of friends here, you will know that our sales in Europe are very good, but we can only offer LCC in Europe because the max version that we can offer is not that available. Because in Europe, we have a lot of narrow roads, sometimes single lane. Double lane can be very difficult to see. And also, when you have some oncoming traffic, you need to wait the car to drive through, then you can pass through. So it's also very common. Only when we get down this kind of narrow road NGP, we can make our cars with the best experience in the whole world. We believe our VLA 2.0 will be a new giant leap for our company to enter the whole world. We also made a comparison with FSD. This time, FSD, we compare with their version 13.29. The experience very smooth. And also, we consider the abnormal or some corner cases. For our company, our narrow road performance is very good. We can see that our takeover rate is only 20% of FSD. And for our two systems, we don't have any takeover. And also, the test, the time frame is also, we are less than FSD. Next month, I'm going to the US to drive the latest Tesla FSD version and see the difference then. During the test, we have also identified some interesting emergence features. For instance, this new feature. When someone waves at us, no matter is the traffic police or the pedestrians, the car will stop. So this is the feature that we didn't expect to develop. Another interesting feature, as you can see on the slide, if we wait for the red light, when it is about to go green, the car actually is moving slowly already, and very slowly but very smoothly. This is not the feature that we plan to develop, but this is also has emerged from our latest technology. When we launch this officially, we will see more and more interesting and useful features. The VLA 2.0 of our company, we are also going to offer you the industry-first Super LCC free from navigation. Because we are thinking, if we turn off the navigation, can we also use autonomous driving features? Now, for Chinese customers and also for the overseas customers, we are now developing the Super LCC. For instance, tonight you are going to drive, you want to drive freely, you don't want to use the navigation. But during the free driving, you can also use autonomous driving on a straight road, and when you switch the lane, it's also very smooth. The brand new autonomous driving method will be compliant globally, and also next year, it will be ready to use for both Chinese and global customers. Speaking of the timing plan, we can see that no matter it's max users or ultra users, you can already see some of the upgrades are a little bit slow recently for our company because we are doing our efforts to switch to the latest VLA model. This month, we are going to open the test drives. Today, we also have a lot of media friends here. Some of you, if you are willing, we can have test drives. And in late December this year, we are going to invite some pioneer users to experience. And also, if you bought the Ultra version, then you have the possibility to be invited. And also, next Q1, we are going to push to all Ultra users of our company. Here, I want to emphasize the XPENG AI 2.0. We are evaluating how can we migrate to our Max version users. Next year, you will have a more powerful Max version autonomous driving. Open source. This is a very bold, different idea. We hope that XPENG autonomous driving, the chip, the EA architecture, the large model, we can realize open source for our global business partners. In the near future, we welcome our domestic and overseas OEMs and Tier 1 companies to talk with us and welcome you guys to bring this technology out of our company to other provinces in China and also to other countries in the whole world. Today, we officially announce our VLA 2.0 will be open source. And also, we'd like to announce Volkswagen will become the launch customer of our XPENG VLA 2.0. Additionally, XPENG Turing AI chip already secured the nomination from Volkswagen. First of all, a big thank you to Volkswagen. Over the past several years, the two companies are joining hands to make actually huge progress. We believe for our companies, we are supporting mutually to each other. Next year, the XPENG VLA 2.0 will also be equipped and launched in the latest Volkswagen models. We believe our two sides can promote the whole world autonomous driving technology forward. For our VLA 2.0, it's actually the cerebellum. But if we want to be more intelligent, we should also consider the cerebrum. That's why here, together with VLM, we are going to offer new features. This kind of combination of VLA and VLM will have a better parking experience for you. And also, when you are on the road of 3 lanes, you can also give the instructions. For example, you want to drive on the middle lane. We hope it's not only on the road, in the outdoor area, or in other kind of road conditions. You can have actually very low latency. We are also developing, based on this VLM, the latest AI assistant which can offer multiple language services. Our Xiaopi will serve you in mixed languages, not only in China, but also in English, in German, and also in other languages. Now let's check out how Xiaopi can do this with a video.
Hallo, Alex, schön dich wiederzusehen.
Oh, hallo. Du kannst jetzt Deutsch sprechen. Das ist fantastisch.
Das ist nichts Besonderes. Ich kann mehrere Sprachen sprechen.
小 P， 还记得今天早上我让你提醒我的事吗？
当然记得，你让我记下今晚7点在玛丽珍餐厅的预约，并提醒您准时到达。
Hey Expo, I'll turn on the seat massage to relax.
Okay, I've turned on the massage for right seat in the second row.
Dieses Mal möchte ich mehrere Orte erkunden und wirklich was erleben. Kannst du mir bitte das Wetter der nächsten Tage zeigen?
In den nächsten 3 Tagen wird das Wetter in der Stadt sonnig sein, mit Temperaturen zwischen 32 und 38 Grad. Die UV-Strahlung ist stark. Ich empfehle Ihnen beim Ausgehen unbedingt auf Sonnenschutz zu achten. Alex, es sieht aus, als hätten Sie sich heute etwas wärmer angezogen. Soll ich für Sie auch die hintere Klimaanlage anschalten?
Ja, danke. Sowieso aufmerksam.
Hi Expo, turn up the fan speed a little bit.
Sure, I've adjusted the AC for you.
时间不早啦，我们出发吧。小 P， 帮我导航去玛丽珍餐厅。
好的，已为您规划最佳路线，预计18点45分抵达。
Well, when I go travel abroad, I would also drive different vehicles. And when I was in Britain, the voice assistants we often call "Hey, it's X-World," but it's hard to activate due to the poor pronunciation, not to mention German or Russian because of the language barrier. So just imagine for Chinese friends going overseas and want to activate our voice assistant, you can now activate in Chinese to access the navigation, the control screen, and others. This is an important feature. You know that usually it's Android or other systems often have the origin of Linux. that power our cabin. But we believe that in 2026, there will be 2 operating systems. Apart from the Android, we're also going to have VLM operating system, which is a voice system that supports conversation, memory, and other functions. This is still under development. We hope that in 2026 or 2027, we are going to show you our great leap in the VLM. So that will be the end of our first chapter. The key takeaway is our VLA 2.0. This is a model in the physical AI world. These foundation models keep iterated, which enables us to see the brand new capabilities and emergent features. What I want to emphasize that this model will not only be applied to our robot, on our vehicle, but also on the Robotaxi, the robot, and flying cars. Therefore, we strongly believe that based on our VLA 2.0 plus the VLM, we're going to emerge new features, including what we're going to introduce in the second chapter. The era of autonomous driving is accelerating. I believe that in the future there will be 2 types of cars. Well, first is Robotaxi without the driver. This is we usually call the Robotaxi. This will be a full sharing mode. And another type, I believe, would be the private exclusive mode, meaning that it will open to the retail customers for them to purchase. They will enjoy the same hardware and software of Robotaxi. And this can also be driven by your family members. This is why we call it exclusive mode. This L4 car will be compliant with the laws and regulations. You can drive it as if it's an L2 car. But of course, for Robotaxi, we need to hand out license. And first, let's delve into the Robotaxi. Well, the world's first Robotaxi was put into operation in 2018. And in the past 7 years, it's been frequently discussed and piloted. However, the industry is yet to actually scale it like the NEV or electric vehicle. And I believe that many of you have never ridden it yourself. Why is that? Well, first is because of the high modification cost, the multiple laws and regulation limit, and that will lead to a small fleet size because it is hard to commercialize and profit. Therefore, companies always run relatively small fleet. Not to mention, the operation scope is also really limited. For us, we're a company that transitioning from L2 autonomy to L4 autonomy. And we found that many of the Robotaxi, they actually cannot access to places like without navigation, or they often only choose to drive on the open public roads instead of the narrow roads. Therefore, the route planning in the autonomous driving actually has many blacklists and limitations. And if you want to ride-hail an autonomous driving car, like to your office, to the parking space, it's very difficult for the car to actually drive to where you want. These are all the problems of Robotaxi. If we really want to scale it to larger scope for better commercialization, even expanded from China to the world, we believe that we need to have the car OEM itself to invest into it. So here comes our XPENG. In 2026, we're going to launch 3 Robotaxi models. I believe that this would be a model that would be fully self-developed, full-stack in-house development. And these three robotaxi models, we believe that will enable more people, more friends, not only in China but also across the world, to access the robotaxi and enjoy the service. I want to quickly walk you through some of the features. First is the hardware designed for the alpha autonomy. We have two hardware systems for safety redundancy, including the computing power, steering, perception, energy, braking, and communication. We will ensure that throughout the whole driving, the safety is our priority. Also, the robotaxi will have higher computing power, up to 3,000 TOPS, way higher than what we can currently offer. We will have 4 Turing AI chips on board, 2,250 TOPS for operations, and another 750 TOPS for redundancy. And based on our VLA 2.0, we're going to train different styles of autonomous driving, which would prioritize ultimate safety, especially zero takeover. It may lack in driving efficiency, but to ensure very comfortable, smooth driving experience, so that you feel like you actually sit in a car driven by a seasoned driver. This can support generalization, meaning that it will be deployed globally. And what other features can we support? We also innovate the interaction system that can interact with pedestrians outside the car. It's an inspiration that I drew from an animation film called Cars. I believe that in the future, those smart vehicles can actually interact with people inside and outside the car. That's why we actually conducted lots of tests for the front side of the car, be it the glasses, the sun visors, or the sun shields. We've conducted a lot of the tests and find that the sun visors is the perfect place to display. So this card can actually show information to the pedestrian and even communicate with it, telling the card where I would like to go, can you drive me there? There will be voice communication outside the car. This will be powered by our VLM, and in the future, you will see that the car will be more like a human-like robot with 4 rows. Therefore, our Robotaxi will actually try to tackle the current bottlenecks in the industry through the factory installation, the scale delivery, not restricted by the region and cover the narrow roads. Therefore, in 2026, our Robotaxi will start trial operations in Guangzhou and also other select places. Because we are a car OEM, unlike those ADAS software providers, we also focus on the hardware development. With contemplating, Robotaxi is actually a B2B business. We actually question whether we can have a more car that would tailor to the retail customers and whether the customers would like to purchase. We had no idea, but we would like to give it a shot. So this is the second card I mentioned, which is the L4 experience card with driver inside. So this is how we shifted from Robotaxi to Robo. The Robo will be a car for the retail customers, and we name it as a new smart driving variant. It actually shares the same origin with Robotaxi, with the same hardware, the trim, the software, and the safety redundancy, probably even other unimaginable features. So you can see that in our smart driving models, there will be Max, Ultra, and Robo, these 3 variants. But not all cars can be equipped with the Robo configurations. We're going to see how we can have better tries. Probably in the future, there will be vehicles with L4 autonomy. We had no idea how far, but still we'll work hard on it. And for XPENG Robo, we have the safety redundancy, 3,000 TOPS computing power, 2-set smart driving mode. One is to focus on commute efficiency, another prioritize ultimate safety. Also, if the laws and regulations permit, we're also going to explore more scenarios and application. For example, the cloud-based models can actually empower. We had no idea, we still try. And also, when we actually permitted by the law, can we actually have our Robo to pick up our seniors and kids when we are busy to pick them to home? We had no idea whether it would be achieved, but probably one day this not be far away, and I hope that. Also, just like what I mentioned, unlike other software providers, we hope that we can share this revolutionary moment to. That's why we decide to open our SDK. Probably in the near future, in a small town in China, there will be a distributor or partner asking like 30 XPENG Robotaxis and have all of these Robotaxis inside their town. And we hope that we can work with our partners to co-build such Robotaxi ecosystem, not only in China but also across the world. So if you want to start a new business, I think it would be a perfect choice for you. So today, we already have partners that have interest in it, so we're delighted to announce that AMAP will become our first global ecosystem partner with us on the Robotaxi. Therefore, when we actually achieve Robotaxi capabilities, we're going to have this ecosystem partnership to achieve like tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands level Robotaxi will be deployed across the world. So AMAP will be our first ecosystem partner. And let's see how they view our cooperation.
Hello, 我是高德地图的 CEO 郭宁，今天也非常高兴，高德能够成为小鹏 Robotaxi 的首个全球生态合作伙伴。在国内，小鹏 Robotaxi 将接入高德聚合打车平台，为用户带来更酷、更高效、更无缝的出行体验。在全球，我们将携手出海，把中国领先的 Robotaxi 服务推向世界的舞台。这不仅是一次合作升级，也是我们双方共同认知、探索 AGI 的关键一步。AI 的终局不仅是屏幕里的对话工具，更是能够感知、推理、决策的行动伙伴，服务真实的人，解决真实的问题，创造真实的价值。就像小鹏专注于探索未来出行，其实过去20年来，高德已专注只做一件事，就是理解真实世界的复杂性。如今，我们把这种认知沉淀为一个极其稳定、可靠的底层能力——空间智能，为全球合作伙伴提供领先的时空理解和决策服务。前不久，小鹏也提到，数字世界和物理世界的融合将催生物理 AI。由此可见，我们双方的理念和愿景是非常一致的。高德与小鹏的携手，正共同塑造一个更加智能、更加真实、更可感知的未来。一起努力，一起期待。谢谢。
So, a big thank you to AMAP. Today, we have already introduced the two important things. First, VLA. Second, based on VLA, the explorations we have already made on Robotaxi and Robo models. We hope we can become the first mass-produced, factory-installed Robotaxi and Robo models OEMs. And also, we hope we can achieve global operations and deployment. And we strive to find more ecosystem partners. In 2026, we are going to launch 3 Robotaxi models. In 2026, we are also going to bring to you the Robo variant for some of the new models of our company. After Robotaxi and the Robo model, now let's move to another species, robot. First, let's check out a video. So this is the Iron robot launched last year in the AI Day. Over the past 7 years, XPENG's Robotics Center has already had 7 generations of products. For XPENG robots, we are evolving actually from quadruped to human-like and then to humanoid robots. Today, the 3rd chapter of our AI Day, I want to share with you about XPENG's robots progress. First of all, I want to talk about one thing. The robot should be like human or not. For the past 7 generations, 5 actually are quadruped. At first, I was very insisting on doing quadruped robots because 2, the biofeet will not be that kind of stable and also safe, because for the quadruped robot, it can do a lot of things for you, no matter it's for the household chores or for entertainment. But with the evolvement of our technologies, we found the quadruped robots, they don't have hands. Sometimes in our company, we made a joke. If a bomb exploded beside you, what kind of organ you'd like to compromise to lose? So many people will choose, I don't need the feet because hands are more useful. At that time, I was thinking, how can we add actually hands for the robots? But we cannot make it like an elephant because the nose is very long, can also serve as a hand. Later, we also make a pony. The tail, we make it a hand. But every time we found the tail of the pony needs to go up, it's not very friendly and also difficult to operate. In the nature, you can see the quadruped animals. Which species have hands? And also, if we bring the quadruped robots to your home, then you will find out actually the apartment will be too big because usually it's around 100 square meters. For your pets, like dogs and cats, they will actually stop moving forward if they see the corner or the wall behind. But for the quadruped, you cannot make them turn around because it will have actually some crashes into the wall or some corners. For our family users, it's very difficult to use the quadruped robot. With the development of our R&D, we already predicted that we will have different kinds of humanoid robots. But for XPENG, we choose the human-like robots. And we choose the most human-like robots. This is our next-gen Iron. Why we want to be more human-like? Because more importantly, if we don't become human-like, then you cannot receive valuable data from human. a lot of robots, they can jump, they can run, but they use actually different kinds of joints. For robots, it has a big difference compared with a human, because robots can do some movements that people cannot do. So you will think, wow, it's impressive. But robots not good at doing some simple things that a human can do. If we do the structure totally different from human, then we cannot receive the realistic data. And also for our scenarios, home, office, shopping malls, people are always using, and also the basis of the design. It's very easy for us to generalize. I think recently you have seen some also social media topics. The quadruple robot, what they can do. For some people, if they buy the robot to the house, then the parents and also the children, they need to like it. For human-like robots, it's more easily to be accepted and also very much more easier to be commercial. Now, let's welcome the video first of our next-gen iron. This is XPENG New Gen Iron. Actually, I have mixed feelings now, because over the past 7 years, in order to make the working very lightly and very elegantly, we did a lot of work, and we try to mass produce iron as well. Thank you, Aaron. You can go to have a rest. This is a very difficult process, because today iron is still under the R&D stage, but we plan next April we are going to enter the mass production preparation stage with hardware and software. Today, the iron you see very gently and also walking like the model. A lot of robots in the industry, you can hear the noise of walking very loud, and also the impact on the floor is very big. In the past, the robots will work like this, but we are actually always want to preparing for the mass production. During the rehearsal, some of the colleagues were saying that, is there a real human inside the iron? No, actually not. Next, I want to first of all tell you guys that we are already starting the mass production preparation of our humanoid robots. We hope it can be lower than 1.7 meters, also can be lighter, can be more good-looking and safer for our customers. We will also enhance the reliability of our mass production robots. This is what we are doing. Next, I want to use a video to show you the structure inside of iron. Actually, according to the head of our robotics center, he said, we are not making robots, we are making humans. I told him, actually, you are creating intelligent human. In the future, robots will be the life partners and also maybe your colleague. That's why it's more like intelligent human has the intelligence to create a better life with human beings. That's why the next gen iron has very flexible bones and also very solid muscle, bionic, and also very soft skin. We hope it can also have the similar height as human beings, inside out, human-like. That's why we designed the human-like spine for the next gen iron. It will be able to actually go down, bend like human beings. I cannot touch the floor, so I will not show you, but iron can. And also around the lumbar area, we can also have flexible movements. No matter it's lying, standing, getting up, doing some easy gestures and movements, all of them can achieve on the next gen iron. In addition, we also have bionic muscles on iron. It can be more like human with different body shapes. You can choose a little bit fatter iron or like me, a slimmer iron. Or you can customize your iron based on your preferences. We also offer you the full coverage soft skin, so the robot is warmer and also more intimate. In the future, can go to the households. This skin touch very softly, and on this new generation iron, we also create some touch sensors. Different areas like the hands, they can have interaction using the detectors. With humanoid bones, muscles, and skins, we can say that iron can have different body shapes and sexes. As you can see on the slide, we have two male robots and two female robots. I suspect that just like you buy the car, you can choose different colors, exterior, interior. In the future, when you buy the robot, you can choose the sex, and you can choose the hair longer or not, or the clothes, what kind of purpose. So do you want to achieve this? If you want, then let's see some hypotheses. If Aaron wears different clothing, it will become actually people from different industries. I believe in the future we have different robots. We have human for sure, and also we have Aaron, this kind of intelligent human. What's more, for our next gen Aaron, it also has the head-mounted 3D curved display, a lot of sensors inside, including the visual sensors. We have the cameras. We also have the millimeter wave radar. We also have a lot of very sophisticated components. For the head, for the face, you can have different expressions. With the screen, the display here, you can see the emotions of iron. We are also developing based on other kind of features like ear and also the mouse and so on. So it's actually the integration of different capabilities. We also developed the bionic dynamic shoulders for our next-gen iron. So our humanoid robot can stretch their shoulder like human beings, and they can achieve the same level of flexibility. And next point is the most difficult one, dexterous hands. This actually is very difficult to mass produce because for the hands, not too big, very small, but we need to be more like human hands. For human hands, actually, is the most sophisticated organ. For iron, we developed 22 joint flexibilities for a single hand, and also we developed the smallest frequency regarding the joints. So single hand can achieve 22 different degrees of flexibility. And for iron, the fingers can actually support a very small item, as you can see on the slide. In addition, the working of iron, no matter the gesture or the dancing or the sitting gesture, very gentle and also very soft. We add the flexibility at the tipping point of the feet, just like the models walking on the stage. We also actually adopt the first all-solid-state battery in the industry on iron. A lot of people are asking, are you talking about the all-solid battery or semi-solid-state battery? And why you don't use it on the cars? Because for robots, it's only less than 2 kilowatt-hour battery. So I think humanoid robots will be the opportunity for us to mass produce the solid-state battery, because for humanoid robots, the safety requirements will be more stringent. For cars, we are facing the roads, the outdoors, but for our robots, we use it in office, in shopping malls, in your households. So we need to achieve the top safety standards. In addition, we use 3 Turing AI chips on the next-gen iron with the maximum computing power of 2,250 TOPS. I believe this is the most powerful robot in the industry. And very possibly next year will be the smartest robot, because using the computing power that I mentioned, we actually combine 3 large models, VLT plus VLA plus VLM. So as we all know, VLA actually comes from the cars. VLM is also from cars. But we add the new VLT large model. This large model is the concept and also is the model first created by XPENG. It's also today the first time for us to announce VLT large model will be the core engine for robot autonomous action. It's actually like the brain of our humanoid robots for their decision making, especially in the real world. For instance, how the body is going to move, how the hands are going to adjust, and how they are going to take different actions. This VLT large model is extremely valuable. Also, the VLA big model will also be applied on our XPENG next-gen iron, but we need to say that it will be much more difficult because on the car we have one engine going forward, going backward, going left, and going right. But for a robot, we have 82 joints. So you can think about actually tons of combinations, from hands to feet to shoulder to lumbar to head. A lot of gestures will be a challenge for us, but we firmly believe that this VLA large model will be extremely useful for the body control and have a unified intelligence. Also, XPENG. Last year, we has established the first embodied intelligence data factory in Guangzhou. We believe no matter your computing power is high or not, data will be the key. How can we receive massive data over time? I think this is very important for our robots to be more generalized. Here, let me allow to make it still confidential, because in the future I will disclose more and more to you guys how XPENG can use the massive data to support the mass production of our robots. Regarding our iron, we also want to mention about the 3 laws of robotics, because now we extend these 3 laws of robotics. As we all know, the first law is that robots cannot harm humans, cannot let human beings getting harmed because of no action. Second law is robots needs to obey the instructions of human unless this instruction is in conflict with the first law. The third law is the robots need to protect itself existence unless it's in conflict with the first and the second law. Now, for our company, we are thinking the fourth law, that robots cannot disclose any human privacy because they have ears, they have eyes to hear and also to see everything around you. This kind of active safety protection will be actually very important for our company to develop for our customers. We all know that in cars we have AEB feature. Through rules and algorithms, we can protect the occupants. But for robots, can we have similar feature? Maybe not every one of you knows the complicated process of robot development. Sometimes it will go crazy dancing. Suddenly, you can think about 70 kilograms robot. If he kicks you, then what you can do? That's why we need to have this kind of active safety protection without harming people. This is crucial. We can see that very frequently, including in our company, we have shoot this kind of video. We can kick the robot and the robot can still be balanced. Is this safe? No, because during the movement, if you kick him, if the floor is not flat or your pet is on the floor, then the robot will actually step on the pet or step on the pit on the road. That's why we need to think about how can we protect actually the pets, the people, the conditions around the robots. All of this are belonging to our working scope regarding the iron development.
Next is about commercialization. Many may concern that this is your 8th generation of robot, and when can you actually make it a commercial product and mass produce it? It is something that many would ask. Actually, 2 years ago, we've been contemplating about it, and we would like to share some of our insights and observations. First, should we introduce our robot into factory to tighten the screw? It is actually the easiest settings we believe robot can perform, but after 1 year of trial, we found that it's not suitable. Why the case? Because first, the most difficult part of the robot, we believe, is hand. And when you perform the work, like tightening the screw, usually it would just take 1 month for the robot to have his hand wear. Not to mention it has 2 hands, and the cost for that is very costly. Not to mention the manufacturing skill between Chinese and the American workers are different. Therefore, it's very cost-effective to hire Chinese workers in our factory. That's why we believe it is not the best way to introduce the robot into factory from both commercialization, from both the technology and the usability. Therefore, having the robot to tighten the screw is not our priority. It may become later, but not for now. So that's why we cancel it. Then how about the household chores? We often run into videos, and I also excited about the vision because I'm kind of a lazy person. For all those household chores, I would rarely perform myself. Can I have a robot to actually do that for me? But still, we believe that it is still not viable. First, it's because of safety. As I've said, for a family, usually have about 100 square meters area. Not to mention all of these obstacles, the items that you stacked in your house. It's very difficult for your robot to not get tripped over or just run into your furniture, the pads. I believe no single companies in robotics can actually ensure safety in the household. That's why I think safety would be the greatest challenge to hinder that development. The second is generalization, because you have different household settings. How can you actually ensure the robot can learn your settings and perform accordingly? I think it's very difficult based on our current technology. That's why we decided to pause it for now, even though we may choose to deploy it in our household in the long term. That's why, after all of these considerations, we decided that we want to prioritize our commercial settings. The first, we expect that it would be deployed in 3 kinds of scenarios. When I was in the mobile internet industry, we often say about protection, guarantee, and I think it's similar in robots. We often followed same kind of rules. Like for robots, we believe that it can perform work like tour guide, shopping guide, and even reception in a company. So these 3 kinds of capabilities is very likely to be deployed in the real world. For our next-gen Iron, we hope that it will not be remotely controlled. Instead, it can be instructed via natural language. But of course, it needs to undergo some basic training. Instructing it how to better guide the people, you need to have those materials that input into the system so that this robot can actually introduce themselves. And next year, our robots are very likely to show up in our XPENG stores to introduce our product. You'll probably see our robots introducing our product, but sorry, they can only introduce the car, they cannot actually test drive with you. Not to mention, it can probably to lead you or guide you in our manufacturing base. In the coming future, this may generate a new kind of occupation that we will require people to teach, instruct, and manage the robot. For example, one manager in charge of a group of 7 robots that can perform the work that dozens of people can do. This would be a dedicated occupation probably in the future. Next is about mass production, because we really take it seriously. And after our development of our next-gen Iron, many of our labor will be actually concentrated into our mass production, hoping that we can achieve the kind of capability, making sure that our robot can see, listen, understand, even though it may perform slowly, but it can ensure that it's operable. And we often say that it's more difficult to mass produce the robot than to build a robot ourselves. And we actually took many detours, and we would like to share some of our experiences with you on this AI Day. First, in the past, when I actually got into the auto industry 11 years ago, we believe that car is actually hardware defined, and to think about the software, how to better be compatible with the hardware. Therefore, the software providers can actually assist the car OEMs. However, it's totally different in robotics because it is a software-defined hardware. You can see that our iron, they actually learn how to walk through the reinforcement learning, take some simple steps, because at that time it can only do so based on that hardware and the software. But if you want to power our robot using the new model, due to the different architecture and different software, the hardware may probably need to adjust it accordingly. And in this field, well, to be bluntly, many of the car OEMs, the suppliers or the partners, they may found that a lot of the software provider in the car manufacturing industry can hardly perform very well in the robotic industry. Second, people would ask about whether the robotics, what is the standard for the robotic quality? And from our perspective, we believe that the quality of robots will likely go beyond that of the stringent automotive grade. Because we also work on the flying cars, we believe that this too would be, well, very rigid, more rigid than the car. For example, our battery design, well, is more stringent than that of the car. We worry about catching fire in the household or building. Not to mention, the robot has 82 joints. So, imagine a car, if the engine fails, it cannot drive. But there are 82 joints on a robot. If one fails, well, the whole may collapse. Oftentimes, we will have situations like a joint fell and the electricity will break down, the robot will just fall over. That's why the robot would have very high requirements for safety, much higher than that of the car. And for perception design and domain controller design, we actually benchmark against the car and even higher than that. The third lesson we learned is that we find that most of the car makers, they would like integration and innovation to do this at both the same time. But for robotic manufacturers, it's more about fusion and innovation. How can it better fuse the software and integrate to make it coordinate? Because the eyes, the hands, the legs of the robot need to be coordinated. These are powered by two different systems. It's very difficult. That's why we required full fusion. Fusion and innovation is actually the foundation for robotic development, and this is a great challenge. I believe that for the future robotic manufacturer, many of them would prefer the full-stack self-development. And for those who choose for integration, well, it may be very difficult for them to venture into this field. That's why we believe that mass-producing the advanced humanoids is as difficult as building a robotaxi with an immature hardware and a software supply chain, just like back in 2015. That's why I would take the lead to build a robotic team. And so far, we have 10 R&D teams working on the robotic development. So apart from the robotic centers, we have other departments that would also work on the R&D. Not to mention, we have more than 20 partnering departments, over 1,000 people that will support our overall development. Well, first, let's watch a short video to see some of our mass production scenarios. actually set a very aggressive goal for ourselves, which is by the end of 2026, we hope that we can mass produce high-level advanced humanoid robots. If we can really achieve that, this would be a great challenge, but also a great success for us. We hope that there will be a louder round of applause here. And I truly believe that our robotic teams will never fight alone, because all of those R&D teams working on the robotics will fight together, join hands in hand to tackle all those hardware and software challenges, ensuring safer and higher level mass production. We hope that XPENG will become one of the first and even the first Chinese company to mass produce the humanoid robot. This is a challenging goal. Also, just like our VLA 2.0 and the Robotaxi, our XPENG Iron will also open our SDK to the global developers. We believe that robots developed by a single company is very limited in its universal usages. But if we can partner with more developers to have secondary and even multiple developments, it's definitely going to enrich our Iron's features and to be greater adapt to different scenarios, unleash greater possibility. And we're very delighted to announce a news, because I actually have a friend who have long reached out to me saying that they want to have our Iron deployed in their workplace to help with their business.
现在宣布，宝钢股份将成为小鹏机器人 Iron 项目的生态合作伙伴。在不久的将来 ，Iron 将入驻宝钢，在巡检等复杂的工业领域探索应用场景，并迭代进化。 为宝钢股份的智慧制造赋能，我们相信 AI 的终极价值不仅在于技术突破，更在于成为人类在物理世界中的延伸与伙伴。它并非替代，而是赋能；不是颠覆，而是共生。人工智能是新人科技革命与产业变革的核心引擎，更是全球高端制造竞争的战略制高点。 我相信通过深化双方合作，将为中国新能源汽车的高质量发展，为制造业的智能化转型注入新的动力。谢谢大家。
So to make a summary, the latest next-gen XPENG Iron will be the most human-like robot, and also we are going to equip the industry-first full solid-state battery. We hope we can achieve mass production in 2026, and more people will buy our humanoid robots like you purchase our cars. So just now, we have already shared a lot of applications on the road, on the floor. Now let's go to the sky to see the latest our low altitude mobility progress. For our Emergence team, it has been 12 years since their R&D work started. You can also see all the products from Emergence over the past 12 years. When Deli created this company, no one believed in this dream. Later, XPENG joined hands with Huitian, currently Emergence. Still, many people didn't believe. But recently, I start to see that a lot of people, they are committed to this low-altitude economy, this kind of mobility in not only China, but also in the US. We have already seen the news recently. This kind of a flying car will be a major direction for the mobility. Today, very glad to bring you the latest flying car from Emergence. It's actually not a flying car, but the low-altitude eVTOL. Now let's check out the video. So just now, you are looking at our latest generation fully tilt rotor flying car called A868. I believe this will transform the future mobility because it's higher efficiency than cars and also more convenient than the high-speed trains. You can actually start your journey anytime. Today, the prototype is already ready at the venue nearby this conference hall. It's too big. We cannot bring to this stage. If you are interested, you can have a look. If you stand in front, you can feel how big this flying car is. For average A868, we have already entered the flight test phase. We hope we can have the actually aerospace level system and we can achieve more than 500 kilometers and also the maximum flight speed of more than 360 kilometers per hour. We support maximum 6 people sitting in the cockpit. Only half basketball course you can solve the landing and takeoff issue. You don't need a very big airport to do this kind of things. Next step, average, we are going to have 2 systems. The first direction will be the land aircraft carrier. It can fly for about 20 to 30 kilometers, but it cannot for long range. The second direction will be our A868. We need actually a designated takeoff and landing venue, but the range will be longer and more efficient. These 2 directions can all be your option, will transform our future as well. And this will no longer become imagination. Now we are ready for mass production and delivery in 2026 regarding the land aircraft carrier. Maybe in about 2 quarters. Many of you can come to have test flights. For me, I will also be the first to try the flight during the mass production stage. I think demo is very easy to make. We can see a lot in the world. But if we want to mass produce it, we have already actually worked for 13 years. Next year will also be the 13th anniversary of Average. Today, we also want to share with you different parameters. First, safety. We benchmark the top flight safety standards to achieve full domain safety redundancy. You can see we have a lot of redundancy for your safety. And we also have the industry first 6-axis, 6-propeller dual duct golden safety configuration. So for each propeller fails or the diagonal rotors fail, we can achieve very safe landing and takeoff. We also have the executive first program in Average. So for parachute, you know the story in the World War II. The parachutes cannot be opened in the sky. That's why later the supply chain companies at that time, they find their executives to try in the sky. If they cannot open, then they will die. That's why in the future, the parachutes no longer face this kind of problem. For me and for Deli and other Average executives, we have the hands-on commitment to safety with a mandatory 5,000 kilometers flight mileage. In Dunhuang, the northeast China, we roll out the first low-altitude tourism flight route. Dunhuang is a very beautiful area, but I never see this scenery in the sky. Some people are saying that I have the drone to take the photo, but if you can see from the sky, it will be totally different from the drone. We also believe that we are going to open 5 more flying camps in Dunhuang, and 2026 across China. In total, we have more than 200 flying camps. Average also has launched China's first low-altitude flying camp in Guangzhou Higher Education Mega Center, which is very close to the current headquarters of Average. But in 2 weeks, Average will also move to the new headquarters here next to our Expo Motors building. This actually will be the world's first flying car 6S store. If you want to fly, for sure, you need to have a flying car license. That's why we now introduce you the first dedicated pilot license for the Average flying car. In the future, not only you have the driving license, but also the pilot license. Also, don't worry about the troubles during the training. Let's see how you can learn how to fly. A lot of buttons, a lot of mechanical features. When you first enter the cockpit, you will feel very overwhelmed. But I'm very happy that our land aircraft carrier, with one screen and one joystick, we can achieve single-hand flight. If you can drive, then it will be very easy to learn how to fly. We also have the redundant console. Even the main console is failing, you can also have safe flight and landing. So, warmly welcome everyone to try out. And also, we are going to have a new park across our headquarters, which will open very soon. In the park, you can try out our flying car. And for all mass production, we cannot talk about this without the manufacturing factory. Recently, the first prototype has already rolled off the production line in the world's first mass production intelligent flying car factory. Very soon, we are going to deliver our flying car in 2026. I believe at that time it will be a brand new experience for you guys, and I'm very much looking forward to exploring the new future of mobility. Today, also, I'm very glad to announce that Average has already received 7,000 orders regarding the land aircraft carriers. We know the world's largest aircraft company, they cannot sell more than 800 aircrafts. But once our land aircraft carrier starts the mass production, we believe this will create actually a new record regarding flying car annual sales. We also firmly believe that you can see our Average model everywhere across the world.
Okay, some last few slides. The theme of the AI Day is Emergence. As one of the earliest companies in China that diverge in the full-stack self-development, XPENG, as you can see, we have finally emerged something different, the cross-industry, cross-domain features and technology. And actually, in real world, we also have similar things. For example, like singularity and black hole. When the cosmos is having a gravitational collapse, the space and time will have an extreme compression. This would give rise to singularity. Singularity then will generate the spatial-temporal distortion, which would also lead to the black hole. Therefore, I truly believe that for both the physical world and the digital world, or the integration of these two worlds, there will be greater emergence showing up in the future that is worth exploring. In our AI Day, we spent around 100 minutes to introduce our latest technologies, the VLA 2.0. This is, I believe, the first large model that will be implemented on the mass-produced cars. And this large model would also power the Robotaxi. The era of autonomous driving will definitely racing in. We will see the mass production in 2026, as well as the Robo models. The next-gen Iron, meanwhile, would also be powered by the VLA and the VLM. as well as the Turing AI chip computing power. Underpinned by all of this, we hope that we can become the first company to mass produce the advanced humanoid robot. I will take the lead, together with the team, to ensure that the mass production will be achieved next year. It will not be a demo anymore. It will not be a performance robot. Instead, it can be an application robot. And the last one is our vision in the low altitude, mobility from pure dreams to the very actual products. All of these things that we launched today, they're seemingly cross-industry, probably covering software, the Robotaxi, hardware, and flying cars. But they're fundamentally the same at their core, and that is the physical AI. We will be very committed to perform well on the physical AI front. Therefore, XPENG, based on our hardware and software full-stack self-development, we hope that we can become the explorer of mobility in the world of physical AI, as well as a globally visioned embodied intelligence company. This will be our vision for the next decade. After so many technical and hardcore content, we actually prepared a very interesting video that shot by myself, hoping that we can give you a glimpse of the mobility in the future that we envision.
小 P 开到会场。
好的呀，我们出发吧。滴滴，小 P 要出发了。
大师兄，您好。
艾伦，你好。
欢迎大师兄来到发布会现场。
So there are actually 5 actors. Apart from me, you can see that they're all shown on this slide. Especially I want to highlight the guys that are dancing is our Iron wearing a high visibility clothes. We did not fast forward the video. It's actually on its original speed. Therefore, I strongly believe there's bold technological imaginations, even though it's very difficult to achieve right now. But just please give us some time and patience. I think it will be bring into fruition. I think we're on our way to create a better future, to democratize the technology and a better life. So this is just the last few slides. So we welcome all of you, especially those joining offline, to visit our new headquarters. And for those that are tuning in online, you can also take a chance to visit our headquarters. This is probably the most family-friendly tech park. We have our mom's kitchen, our technology exhibition hall introduced by our robot, especially a lot of hardcore content. You can even try out some of the sci-fi experience. Along with that, our XPENG intelligent manufacturing base is also ready to open. This is probably the most tech and styling industrial tourism new landmark. You're going to see how the car, robots, and flying cars are manufactured. We look forward to the future that there will be robots performing some duties in our factory. So the brand new headquarters, brand new intelligent manufacturing base will be open to public in December. So we welcome your reservations and your visit. To wrap up, I would like to use a quote saying that curves of light emerging as stars. 13 years ago, there were actually a vision in our flying car teams. And 11 years ago, or approximately 13 years ago, I was pondering whether I can venture into the auto industry from the mobile net industry. And last year, I was thinking about whether the VLA can actually become a physical world model. They're all threads of light. They're all roots that will be grow into a greater dream. As long as we can have all these threads of light gathered together to emerge as the stars and reach to the distant future, we truly believe that the humans is being great because of our dreams. Once again, we welcomed and we really thank all of your presence. We hope that we can, with both online and offline friends, to walk into the better and greater future with the physical AI model. And one more thing, on our AI Day launch event, we introduced our progress and latest technology in the physical AI world. And on November 6th, which is tomorrow, we're going to introduce our latest REEV model, a model that will be powered by both the pure electricity and the range extender system, which will usher in a new era. So we welcome all of you. Stay tuned for our tech launch event for our X9 Kunpeng Super Range Extender System. Once again, thank you for all those people that are creating the excitement in the physical world AI. Thank you all. Thank you, Mr. He Xiaopeng, for your